Hello, Aries. So I am here today to give you your message for July 2025. We're going to be going through a couple of things. First of all, July 4th. July 4th, we have Neptune retrograde in the sign of Aries. Why is this important? It's important because it's kind of like somebody's trying to get in your head. And the Aries energy is that emperor energy. Is kind of this energy of trying to forcefully push their will upon you. And because it's Neptune, it has a lot to do with your spiritual self, your sleep state, your unconscious self. So these are like, when you have to read between the lines because somebody can negatively influence you or actually have you say yes to something that wouldn't be for your greatest good because you're not in tune. Honestly, I think that July in general has a very, very positive um, frequencies, but just keep in mind that it also is very easy for you to fall into the same traps that you've fell into in the past, and we'll go through the different signs for that. But let's find out about this Neptune in Aries, um, Neptune retrograde in Aries on July 4th, and how it will be influencing you. That's the one. It came out sideways and it got stuck in my hand. Okay, we have the turkey. Good news. You will soon receive an important but very unexpected gift. Accept this with deep respect. Someone has sacrificed a lot to keep you open doors and grow. A lot to help you open doors and grow. It doesn't say keep you. I said keep you twice, okay? But it doesn't say keep you. This is important, okay? And it says a lot of things will change for the better. Now, there's another deck of cards that I have that has the turkey, and that's this tea leaf oracle. Now, the energy of the Neptune retrograde in Aries, it has a misdirection kind of energy to it, where your inner self kind of tells you this doesn't really sound right. I'm sorry, my eye is itching. And that's important too, because it's like you're not seeing something right. So it's kind of like be careful because not everything that shines is gold. As soon as I saw the turkey and this good news, I'm like, not everything that shines is gold. It's like somebody offering you a position, somebody offering you a promotion, somebody offering you something that seems like you've made it. You've gotten exactly what you wanted. And then you'll have people think, if you ask anybody, they'll be like, are you stupid? I can't believe, oh, I just saw that um my smoke, I have incense going, it just formed a big C. And that must be significant because I never see it form something specific, but it literally formed a C. um Sorry, I got distracted there for a minute, but I think that's important, okay? And so it sounds like an amazingly awesome deal, amazing awesome offer. It's like everything you wanted coming true. And then something kind of being a little sketch. So be careful, listen to your intuition. I feel like the month of July should be one where we have a very strong spiritual practice. And I think the downfall of more spiritual people is the fact that you don't have a daily spiritual practice so that you can get in tune with yourself and that you can listen to your intuition a little bit more. I would for the month of July because it's easy for you to fall into a pattern or a trick linked to your ego. And ego is good, but if it's in excess, it's bad. Okay. So we have this good news that is coming. It's a gift. It's supposed to open a door for you. It just feels very sketch. That's all I'm going to say about that. I really feel like it feels sketch. Second thing that comes up in the month of July, I made this whole thing up for you guys. Second thing is the full moon in Capricorn. Now, personally speaking, because I've been really following astrology for a while, July has a way of bringing up old karmic cycles that we haven't processed completely. This can be things that you learn from your parents, and you're repeating a cycle. This can be things like traumas from when you were younger, or this can even be a past life thing where it comes up during this time of July. And it's always triggered by this full moon in the sign of Capricorn. And I see it's a cyclical thing every summer, every summer. If you guys think back of every single summer, if around the time of July something triggers and then there's like this thing where you have a cycle of really weird energy, it's because of this Capricorn moon. It comes out every single year in the month of July. Now, that means from July 7th through the 14th, this is a period where you can fall easily prey into an old wound, an old pattern, or an unhealthy habit that you had in the past. Okay, important for you to know that, because you can be mindful. Like if you know beforehand, you won't fall, right? You'll realize, oh, this is what I did the last time, and you won't fall for the same trick. So let's see about that. What do you have to tell them about this full moon, my Aries collective? There it goes. If I get the turkey again, I'm going to lose my shit. Okay, we got dogs. Getting together with friends. We have a table. Hard work ahead. Third, pale. Time to get out of a situation. I fucking knew it. Oh, I'm sorry. I totally F-bombed it. And grape. Time to go and have some fun. I saw an O. Just have to say that. And an E. So the letter O and the letter E might be linked to these friends, because the smoke all of a sudden created that. So it seems like you're going to hang out with some friends. You're going to find some hardship with hanging out with these friends. And you're going to have to decide to choose your inner peace. These can be friends that you had for a long period of time, because I can tell you the energy of Capricorn in this full moon is triggered highly by things and people of the past. So old people coming back, trying to trigger a same old wound to see if you're going to repeat a cycle, or friends that you've had for freaking ever, bringing up stuff from back in the day that creates problems within the friend group. That's what this feels like, you guys. I mean, I don't know. And then because you're like, I do see that there are doors opening for you, it can be jelly people. You know, you're going to move on. You're not going to like us anymore. Your friend groups and the people that you're going to like to hang around with is going to be different. We're going to lose you. So now we're going to be jelly and kind of bash you in a way so that you feel bad and stay where you were. So be careful with that energy. I don't know. It's a full moon, and usually full moons bring clarity. It's like eye-opening situations. You can see through the BS. I think this is going to be a really eye-opening month for you, Aries, for the month of July. Okay. Next thing is Venus will be entering Leo, and this will be in July 12th. Venus entering Leo is the energy of kind of really going towards your desires, what you wish, what you want to create, the things that are like really calling to your spirit. The only bad downside I want to say about, no, they told me this one. The only downside about that whole situation is that if you have unhealthy patterns, you might bring it up, because we have the influence of the moon, and we have the influence of the retrograde, and then we have we have so many negative influences. But I mean, there are ways for us to see where we have our slow energy, right, where we need to fix things. So let's find out about this Aries, this Venus energy in Leo. Okay, so we have the river. Let me show it to you. And it's interesting because the horse is upside down. Do you see the water, and it's creating like a distortion? I mean, sometimes you don't want to be right. And this is what this reading is making me feel so like, I'm trying to warn you for not falling into the same trap. Let me pull out the book just to get a confirmation of what I'm feeling for this. Because right here, it looks like the illusion of moving forward in something, but it's actually a distorted point of view. Okay, hold on. This is super interesting because it's kind of taking a really hard look in the mirror. This Venus and Leo energy, it's kind of like taking a really hard look in the mirror. Do you know how I told you how Leo has a way of revealing your ego self, right? And Venus has a way of you really listening to your internal desires, right? And I think the biggest problem that we have is that we try to lie about who we really are, what we really desire, what we really want. And sometimes it's not what we have. And then when things kind of go like to shit, we're trying to fix and make things back to the way they were because according to you that's the perfect life, even though it's not perfect for you. Like you don't feel good about it. This energy says acceptance, grace, reflection, and forgiveness. And so um, it's a tormented emotion flooding and making you feel overwhelmed because you're starting to realize that probably what you have been working for, and how you see how there's a horse, how you've been running a million miles an hour towards a certain direction, might not be what you really want. And the distortion that comes from that. And when we start getting to the point where we start really listening to ourselves, like, I went towards this career because X, Y, and Z, but now I realize this is just not for me. I hate the environment. I hate everything about it. It doesn't really go with my flow, right? Or I've been in this relationship for this long because I felt like it was important to keep the family together, or it was like what I wanted. But now I realize that this isn't the partner that I actually wanted. Um, and it's like, it's a revelation as to you being going a million miles an hour in the wrong direction. Um, and that's why I tell you that that one is really hard, the Venus and Leo energy, because it's kind of like you falling, you realizing how you've fallen into your negative patterns and habits, and it might not be great for you, right? Like, let's say that you were raised to be a caregiver, and so you have a decent relationship with a good person, and then you leave that relationship because that person really doesn't need you, right? That person is now a partner. You're not a caregiver, but that's the role you're used to. So then you do something to break up the relationship. I don't understand why I'm even getting this really or this reading this message. You do something to break up the relationship because you want to be somebody's caregiver, and then you pick a relationship that is very toxic, but now you're taking care of that person because the person needs your help, and that's when you feel useful. But then you don't realize that the reason you want to do that is because you need help yourself. And so you're hoping that fixing another person, you're going to fix yourself, when that relationship that calmed down and they didn't need you was you finally getting the help that you needed. And so you went the wrong direction because you weren't listening to your intuition. I told you this month of July is one of those where you need to start having a very strong spiritual practice, because it's you're going to start realizing how many times you've shot yourself in your own foot. Like that relationship you left was the right relationship. You just couldn't see it because you were seeing it through your wounds, or the job that you were going towards is not the one you really want. It's just what you fell into because you wanted to prove something to others, to yourself, or you wanted to fix something inside yourself. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. This was sounded really specific. I felt like I was channeling somebody's specific thing, somebody with a J, it looks like, um, in their name. But yeah, it feels like running 100 miles an hour in the wrong direction. So I don't know. For me, July for you, Aries, feels like getting everything you want and then realizing that's not what you wanted. I know that sounds awful, but all right. Now the new moon. The new moon will be in July 24th. It is in the sign of Leo. Leo is very passionate, is very driven, is very ambitious, is able to create the change that they want, right? Um, but they can also be overly zealous and extremely explosive. And since you're in Aries, which is a fire sign, and that moon is in the fire sign, it might amplify your energy of Aries, especially the toxic ones, because of so much Neptune influence on this. Just keep that in mind, okay? I would look up in your birth chart where Leo falls, the house it falls, because that's what's going to be influencing this new moon for you. um, because we usually have all the zodiac signs one place or another in our signs, but that's the one that will be influencing you in the house it is located, and it's going to be influencing you. So that way you get a little bit of heads up where you're going to have to throw a little water in your fire, right? Calm down a little bit your impulses and your ambitions. So because the energy is just really weird in July, it makes you feel like you got this and you can do anything and you can expand in anywhere, but it's like a fleeting moment, and then you realize how you put your foot in your mouth. That's what July feels like to me. Okay, so let's see. Tell me about this new moon for my Aries. First thing that flew out flipped over, and it's the Queen of Wands in reverse. Queen of Wands in reverse is an energy where you're going to do whatever you want to do because you know better than anybody. No advice matters. You're just going to be fiery. And that's actually a fire energy, which is you. I feel like you can easily fall into the trap of bad patterns. And then we have the Two of Pentacles. So the Two of Pentacles for me, because of how I use my cards and how often I've been using them, is this energy of being emotionally imbalanced. So I call it my bipolar card. So it's like one moment you're like, yes, let's do this. The next moment is like, why do I do this to myself? And you're very depressed. And then just having to regulate your emotions a lot because you're going to be up and down. That's so funny because I totally had that song of Katy Perry in my head just yesterday actually. The You're up and you're down, you're in and you're out, you're right. It's wrong when it's right, it's black and it's white. And then it's like someone call a doctor, have the case of the old bipolar. I'm stuck in a roller coaster, can't get off of this ride. This is what I'm getting from this because your emotions are going to be really fired up from this moon. I need you to keep that in mind. So, whatever negative attributes you attribute to yourself will be amplified in this new moon on the 25th. And it's not just because of the year 25th, it's because of Uranus. Uranus is actually doing something in this energy field that it's making us impulsive, like small children's, I want it and I want it now. And then there's also the Pluto influence that it's in retrograde. And now we have that Neptune influence. Is just so much. It's like the perfect blend for a huge internal explosion. Like you can literally, from the smallest thing, burn everything. Okay, so um, watch yourself, especially since you're going a million miles an hour um, in the wrong direction because you're stuck in illusion. Okay, um, so this, I feel very like I'm reading specifically for one person or something. Here's the Hierophant. I done told you it's a belief system that you have that's affecting your vision, and this is not a belief system that comes from now. This is a belief system that comes from the past that create a habit and a pattern as to, I thought I saw two black streaks. That was really weird. Like it created a really dark pattern of, and see, I saw two black streaks. This is important. So it created a really dark pattern, and it's like two dark, so it was two events that kind of tainted the way that you see the world and the way that you perceive that you need to live your life. And those belief systems are the ones that are coming up, and that's what's making you hot and cold and in and out and up and down, you know. um wow. And now this is interesting because it came out sideways. I'm going to take it right side up. It's the Two of Wands. The Two of Wands is like, even though there's options, you only see one way to get to a situation. But it's because of the turmoil. I feel like you have, you know, like a horse when they put those visors next to them so they don't see one way or another. That's what I'm seeing. And then we have the Justice in reverse. That means an imbalance, and it feels internal. This, wow. And this new moon has a way of making things like shitty. Um, and see, you're stuck in your mind. Eight of Swords. So this is creating there's no other way. I can't get out of this situation. There's only one way I'm going to be able to get out of this situation. I'm just going to have to take it, blah, 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 homeless stuff. And I think it's because you're putting yourself in a box because of this belief system. And it might be because of the friends that I told you will show up, or this illusion of going the wrong direction. I went the wrong direction. I must commit to what I went to. I can't go back and say I'm sorry to this person and be like, can we try it again? I'm so sorry. No, it's I don't know. It's just, and I feel like you're going to, this is, wow, this is interesting in the bottom. I feel like you're judging yourself actually, because we have the Princess of Pentacles, the Four of Pentacles, the Judgment card, and the Three of Swords. That literally is, even though you're getting this insight, this tidbit of information, this pearl of truth, you're keeping it inside and you're hiding it from the world because you're judging yourself. Right, you're judging yourself incorrectly, because this human expression is one where we mess up, and that's just the way it is. Right, and we learn our lessons. What did you learn about this? What did you learn about yourself? What can you do different? How can you do this different? Where can you go? What people resources do you have around yourself that can help you in this process? That's where I would go, but not everybody is there. And so it feels like you're judging yourself, like, I got myself in this freaking mess. Now I'm going to have to eat it. And that is going to be causing you a lot of heartbreak. The problem is that personal experience here. If you do something when you're in this energy of, F it, I got involved in this, so now I'm gonna have to stick with it until, like, I screwed up my whole life, so now let me just deal with the screw up I did and just continue this path that I freaking hate. Things get worse because your spirit is telling you, I want out. I want to get out this ride. I'm stuck in a roller coaster and I want to get out of this ride. And you're like, we can't get off this ride. We're already in this roller coaster. We're going to commit. And so that's a splitting of you and your soul. And when that happens, like, things get worse. And I had told you guys that we're going to enter into a 2.5 year cycle. Actually, we're in the first 3 years of the 7 years of darkness. And so this 2.5 year cycle is a retrograde in Pisces, right? It's a strong influence that is oppressing. I'm sorry, I was going to tell you in Spanish, oppressing Pisces. And so that energy is one where your way of thinking is going to cause you to have more karma. And if you're just one of those people that go with the flow and go with the river and accept that, you don't know what currents you have to go through, and let me just go where the river wants to take me. If you're that kind of person, you can get out of the situation in the 2.5 year cycle. I'm not going to say it's going to be easy. It looks like turmoil. It looks like chaos, but it's something that's going to be beneficial for you. And if you guys had been seeing my readings from the beginning of the year, I can tell you that I had warned you guys and that you guys were going to go into this really strong cycle. So that's that. And then the final thing that I do want to look into is the fact that in the end of the month, July 28th, we have Mercury entering Virgo. Mercury entering Virgo. Virgo is a very sound sign. It's an earth sign, but it's very strategic, planning, calculating, yada, yada. And the communications planet, which is Mercury, is also connections. It's like creating the correct communications and the correct connections so that you can move in the direction that you know is going to be for your greatest good. So it does feel like finally getting out of the ride by the end of the month. So let's find out a little bit on that. I guess the reading is going to be a little long, so, but it's important because there's a lot going on in the month of July, and I think it's preparing you for August, because August is the split. Okay, I listened to this guy, Stephen Love Tarot. If you guys are interested, check him out. But he does this write up, and I feel like it's really true about the Lionsgate portal. It's kind of like the final split between the two worlds. And I done told you guys that 9 was the final shedding of the skin. And so I'm feeling that strongly in this energy. Okay, so let's see. Tell me about this Mercury and Virgo in the 28th for my Aries. Here goes your page of coins again. This is the Princess of Coins. These two cards are the same one. This on this deck, when I showed it to you, was something that you weren't able to see. And this one is the first one that comes out. So that information that you receive due to the new moon, I don't feel like you're going to do really much anything with it until we start entering this cycle of Mercury and Venus and Mercury and Virgo. Okay, so the end of the month. And look at where you're at. You're in this energy of the Knight of Pentacles. This is looking at the desert in front of you, looking at the field that has been barren, looking at the situation that is exactly what you don't want, and now thinking, now how do I fix this? And the first thing you think about is, I need to walk away from something. Tell me what they're walking away from. I just heard they're a collective. There's many things they're walking away from. General, though. Page of Swords. Page of Swords is the energy of spying, but or learning something new, like The Apprentice. But what I'm feeling a lot about this is this naive way of thinking that this new person will fix the situation. If I gave more love to this person, they're going to change. If I just put more intentions behind this job, I will get it. It's the woulda, coulda, shoulda energy. Like if I just do a little bit more, you'll see how things will be better. And it's this naive way of thinking that you're going to be able to fix it. You're going to be able to make this better. You are going to be able to. This is I think, one of the problems with crazy spiritual people. They think that that if they put a lot of energy into something, it's just going to get better. But sometimes the whole point has been for you to learn how to let go. Sometimes of control of it feels like looking for gold. And then look, then we have the Queen of Wands coming upright. And she, again, starts this whole energy of the new moon. So this has a lot to do with reflections of the new moon energy. So it's kind of like letting go of the naive way of thinking that I'm going to be able to fix things are going to be better, I'm going to be able to change the situation. You'll see, to, okay, let's actually do what I have to do to draw towards me the things that I know are going to be right for me, because I need to be proactive about this movement in the direction that I know is right, because I've been told more than once through signs, synchronicities, and energies all around me how I'm probably going the wrong way. Okay? Take it from a person that has studied a lot of things. Like a year before I graduated from fashion design, because I went to school because I was thinking I wanted to be a fashion designer. Um, I was not that. I enjoy fashion design. I enjoy sewing. I can do a whole mess of different clothes and patterns and all kinds of stuff because I enjoy it as a hobby. And it helps me with my craft because I do spell work and whatever, and it does help me a lot with my craft. But the lifestyle, the people, the environment is not me. I'm more introverted. I'm not too extroverted, and I don't like to. Uh, what do they call that when a person falls in love with people because of their intellect? I'm in that zone, and that wasn't the life that I was around in the um, fashion design, and so like no matter how much I can sew up whatever I needed to sew up, and I can draw whatever I needed to draw, and I can make any kind of pattern that I need to make, it was just not me. And and I tried it and then I quit it. I've I've done a lot of different professions. And I've done it until I was done. until I realized, yeah, I can do it. I can succeed in this, but do I want to continue to do this? And that's something frustrating for some people, because my husband thinks it's really frustrating how I can't keep changing careers. But I don't stop making money, right? I just get tired. And that might be just the Sagittarius part of me. Um, but I'm finding my niche now because I'm actually being the person I want to be instead of the person I believe I was supposed to be. And so this is very hard, this transition that you're going through. And I don't think a lot of you will accept it. And so, and I'm telling you that because look at, I flipped over this card and it's the Five of Swords. The Five of Swords is um, literally feeling defeated, feeling like, what, I mean, I can't believe it. I can't let this go. What are people going to think? There's a big influence of what are people going to think of me in this energy. Um, and here we go, the Page of Cups. And the Page of Cups is, and then something else is going to have you go down another rabbit hole. So I feel like this is not something that's just going to continue in the month of July. I feel like you're going to be going through a lot of really strange patterns for the rest of the year. In the bottom of the deck, we have the Hangman and the Hermit energy, followed by the World card and the Fool card. Holy shit, that's like a whole mess of major arcanas right after the other. And this is a time where everything that you want to manifest will be stopped because you're in this energy of the Hermit where you're supposed to really look within because you need to move into a different reality for yourself and have that inner child exploration energy in you. I feel like this is when rejection is God's protection. I feel like some of you guys are being halted and it feels frustrating. I know that because of this energy, Five of Cups, that I'm seeing afterwards. Um, because you've already made a plan for your life going forward, and legit you're being told everywhere that's not going to happen. And if you try to force it, I don't think it's going to end up really great. But you know, we all have free will, and some of us learn because we accept the will of God in our lives and move forward. And some of us truly believe we have free will, and not knowing it's the first, it's the first sin of humans, right? It's the thing that made us fall, that false belief of free will. Because if you're saying you want free will, you're saying that you don't want to be part of the collective or part of the God energy. You want to be something standing on your own. Um, so then you have to stand on your own, you know. Uh, I hope that whoever heard that and understood it understands what I'm trying to say on that. But July feels like a very strong month for you, my Aries. Big hearts for you guys, and hoping that you guys, I want to say, submit to your higher self and the inner truth of yourself instead of trying to fit a mold and a reality that is not going to be for your greatest good. I hope that helps you.